Hey, Bot Army. Thank you very much for coming in for another session on the Falke. Listen, I'm not even going to try to pretend to be in normal health. You can tell I haven't got that sort of vibe as usual. Poor Tabs. She went to camp, brought a bit of a bug home. Amazingly, Mum is immune, but Dad was instantly taken down. I'm on the recovery side of it, but so everything's fine. We're good. Just I wanted to keep these going. I don't want to lose the momentum for them, so I'll get the video done. It might be because of how I've been feeling. You know, even with just with a couple of degrees of fever, things might not look the same that they usually do. I tried to explain some parts about, you know, my brush choices, etc. I mean, please bear with me. I think sometimes I've just got to fail at things to then figure out how to do it. You know, my life of epic fail that eventually produces wins. I go into trying to explain my brush, not just my brush choices, but how I work with my brushes. And watching it back and trying to edit it together, I couldn't help but think, gee, Link, couldn't you have done this a bit better? I tried to explain how I've got my A-list brushes in a bottle, the B-list ones, which will be the next ones I go to, and then the backup versions, or the ones that will graduate to A and B slots. I'm not sure if it comes across as well as I'd planned, but take a look at it, tell me what you think, let me know how I could improve it, kind of thing. One of the main takeaways here was that, and this is another thing that Tomoe laughs about, is that, you know, it's like my little Steven Seagal routine. It seems every time I do something on hand brushing with lacquer paints that you seem to like it, so thank you. This one is largely based on that one. I wanted to, I mean, I could chop it down and put it into a couple of other topics for you, make this roll faster. But I know if I did, people would say, I want to see more of the hand painting for the, you know, painting the outline of the camo with the lacquer paint. So this is it in a longer format version. Personally though, I'm feeling I need to move a little bit quicker with this stuff, so the next one will be based on longer sessions, cut down a little bit more, and it's the finishing up the hybrid technique. You know, but having said that, there's some really good footage in there of hand painting with lacquers again. I've got the feeling that no matter how many times I show that, even when I watch it back myself, I can't help but think, man, that guy's good. It just looks really good, the way I can control the lacquer paints with the brush, right? So anyway, that's the next one after this. I probably shouldn't have gone into this long, should I, Tomoe? It's the fever talking. This one though, I'm not sure it's one of the strongest videos, but if I don't share this one, the subsequent ones wouldn't make sense. So there's that. Okay, before I babble any further, let's get stuck into it, okay? Hey guys, I wanted to do a really quick chat with you about brushes. I feel it's always something that comes up as an afterthought because I'll share something and then I'll get questions like, oh, what's your brush choice? So the people who ask those questions, please always keep in mind that when those questions come up, you're correct, not me. Because if I'm missing something, I try as best I can to keep you in mind, keep my buddies in mind when I'm talking about things, but sometimes something that's, you know, sometimes it'll be self-evident to me, but not to others, and that's one of the key things. If you put yourself in front of people, you have to do it for them. It's not so much as for yourself. I hope that made sense. So, brushes. This question has come up time and time again, back from the old days posting to forums and even now. What kind of brushes, what size brushes? So a really quick talk on brushes, why I'm choosing them, and what I think in the choices. Now, this is specific to this project. I'll try to keep this in mind. Whenever I do another project from now on that is hand brush heavy or has a strong hand brush component, I'll make sure to add something like this just to try to get my ideas of hand brushing across to you. I think my take on hand brushing and using brushes is going to be very different from some other people. There's some people whose work I really admire who use paintbrushes, but it's in a different world. They will use, I think I've got a couple here to demo for you. they'll use, you know, a handful of sizes in something like this, a Winsor Newton Series 7. And they're magical with them. They can do the most magical, beautiful work with them. However, I think it's really different from what I do, because I mean, I use those brushes and a bunch more. Here's my active brush shelf now. Sponsored by Butterham Ginger, original ginger marmalade. Tom Way said this was really good, by the way. And here's my selection of brushes, and you can see I'm hesitant to talk about myself in this way, but look at the kind of brushes I use. I mean, there's the people who are wonderful with the Series 7 and they use them in a new condition, but I feel that they're basically very good with one kind of brush, whereas for myself, if there's someone who knows a thing or two about using brushes, it would be me. But how do I say that? I can't do a YouTube video and say, hi, I'm a brush master. Look at how much I know about these various brushes. It just doesn't seem right to me, although it would probably be a very interesting video. So, these are the ones I'm basically using up until now, and the projects we've worked together for a little while. The Falke is different for a couple of reasons. And what else did I want to show you? Yes. Since I've reconnected with Fernando over at AK, this is not sponsored. It's never product placement. He just said, do you want anything? And I've mentioned this in a video a while back. I said, yeah, I really like your brushes, man. They're good. I'm still using the ones you originally sent me. So I've got all of these ones. I'll need a very big project to use these. Some of these are almost 120 scale lunar diver type size. But I'll keep them on the back burner. So that's this is my, we'll use sometime, bottle. Vegemite is my second tier. If I need a backup or something a little bit unusual, I'll jump in here. That's where I got these guys from. And then I've got my first stringers. These are the ones, my go-to brushes. And these will feature heavily in the weathering section. So actually, that's one thing I didn't think I'd be mentioning, but that's part of my little work methodology that I keep three series of brushes handy. Now this guy, I have chosen my primaries here for the camo outline painting. Backups for them are here, and then this is going to be main bodying. Now this is flexible. I kind of just get these ready to take photos, etc. as I'm kicking off, but they may change. Interesting to note, there's a couple of things. These ones are sable, the reds, and the orange are synthetics. No reason. I chose them for shape and stiffness of the fibers. The hairs. Also interesting to note, if you look really carefully, you can see the difference between AK New and AK Old. These are the brushes from 10 years ago. And you can see that they have, to my eye, they've added a filter of RLM66 over their orange to produce a more modern color. This was their first run at it. You can particularly see it here. New is on the bottom, the old one is on top. But the quality of the brush remains unchanged. And the size remains unchanged, which is really nice. This is about the size I'm thinking for doing the vectors across the larger surfaces here in between the camo pattern, just to establish a base. I'll be working with them. And these are my primary camo outline brushes. So this is a size 4 from Lee and Hardy. This would be for some of the larger sweeping actions. You'll see the brush bristles are nice and soft. So the softness is good for a sweeping curve like this. Then the shorter synthetic like this. So I've been using this in various liquids. This one will be for my tighter parts. Now, if it feels a little bit big, I've got the next size down here, number 1. And if that feels smaller, I'll knock it down again, because I've got a couple of unusually tight spots here that may require a number 1. But the rest of it should be number 2, should handle most of it pretty well. And again, I'm wanting the larger size brush here to make the curves. I'll be wanting this one for the circular motions, and as you can see, it's very, very curved. They're my main choices with backups. And this is particular for this kit. If and when the next kit I do, I actually want to do more of a sharp featured camouflage pattern for you. I'll be introducing a different kind of brush and its use for you. I hope that's cool. And please do let me know if you have more questions on brush usage. That's very difficult for me to pronounce. Brush usage. More questions on it, more suggestions of what you'd like to see me do with them in videos. Please do let me know. Just put that in the comments for the, this is a Patreon only video. Put that in the comments on the Patreon website and I'll make sure to include that for you for follow-up content. Hey dudes, let me tell you about my I'm so fancy color scheme. I want to, no reaction. I look around Tomoe, zero reaction, singing, dancing, whatever. I get no reaction. These are the colors I wanted to use. They're closer contrast-wise than the difference in separation on the Rapoon, but I'm liking it, and my theme has evolved a little bit. I'm looking at it. In fact, when I made this, I realized where the inspiration came from. As it evolves, I'll share that with you more, and I think it'll make kind of a cool story. I've chosen this color for the top, and this is another one. It's part of the standard series. It's blue gray, which is a legacy, an older color used by the US Navy. And yeah, like the theme does look a little naval now, but yeah, blue gray. I just kind of wanted this one to skew away a little bit from the Maschinen Krieger RLM 66 type color here. See, it's way more skewed towards blue. But for the outline, you can go straight in with your color and just work from there. But I want the outline to be darker. Now this was something I considered. Now this works because I'm actually going to blend this color in. It's the internal of the cockpit. Thinking about using this on the anti-gravity pods, so it would definitely work. But I scrummaged through the dishes, and the cool thing about reusing these is that some of your more recent colors that you like are in there. It's a total Maria Kondo-san sort of deal that if they're colors that you've recently used, they've all got that spark of joy, haven't they, the Tokimeki? So I was looking through them, and if you guys remember when I hand painted the, for no good reason, I hand painted the frame of the Barbatos Lupus Rex, and I used the color that's not on the table now. And the magic of video means that this one, I was prepared. It says it's a metallic. It's MS gray, and it's a bluish black metallic gray that's not very metallic. The metallicness seems to pop out when you airbrush it, but you can see here, once it's thinned, it's a very dark blue, black gray. This is perfect. This works. So just hunting through, I spotted one. So rather than have to completely invent it from zero, I'm surrounding myself with the things that I love. So if I need more, I'll add it, but I'm going to use just what's in here. And then add this, and that will be my outline color. And it's thrifty. But really, that's not the reason for it. It's just, I'm just reworking with what I know I like, and rolling and riffing off what I've done before. Now, to mix up one of these pre-existing ones, I've done it a few ways in the past. I do prefer to drop a little bit of thinner in first, just to help this base layer start getting a head start on melting. I showed these ones too just because eventually the top will be a mix of all three again as well, but we'll explain that when we get to it. And of course, I've got to go up to Tabitha's school today, so that's why I'm not wearing nitrile gloves, and I'll instead get this, yep, straight up under my fingernails instantly. It's always weird being that dad with paint all over his hands, but it's small paint. It's never, you know, like actual proper day job painter level. Oh gosh, that's a nice color. The only concern I'm having right now is it might not be dark enough, but Weathering and filtering can fix a lot of that for me. And one more, I think. Might need a touch more thinner there. I almost feel like I'm taking a swig out of a hip flask when I do that one. Now this is experimental. I'm not sure how these are going to look together. But in my mind, I think they're going to look right. Press that in nicely. There you go. So this blue-grey, I wanted an excuse to use this for the longest time. Alright, now the mixing. There we go. Yes, see how that's dropping it, darkening it up one layer? Yes, I'm liking this a lot. Cool. Now, I'll go to my warm-up side. I think I've mentioned to you guys that I've kind of decided this is my B side, for no real reason. This is my B side, and this is my A side. You don't have to pick side, but you know, let's start off with something like these details. Now this one, it will be the outline as well. Sure. Now, I mention this a lot because it's super important. The brush is maybe a little bit too loaded. I like going for the B side and underneath it first because I can recover from here. Beautiful. First try. Can you see this one? These are nice little warm-ups. These little break apart areas on the model. Break apart. So I've got my painting mind on. What would I call this? Where the camouflage pattern changes between one side and the other, one color and the other. Was that a word? Okay, this one's a little more challenging to paint. Might rest part of it down. There we go. Now, how to explain how I'm doing this? I try to work it from the curves, like that. Sketch it around. And get my hands and fingers used to the organic part of the curve, and make it. Never fight it. It's got to be a natural flowing feeling like that one. And through again. But it may not match the pencil. It's more than fine. Cool. Lovely. Yep, that looks really nifty. I've actually changed it in a few parts. Once that dries though, we're good, because I'll rub that off, as you'll see, and that becomes a... This is the one I probably should have started off with first because it's nice and big. But it's okay. Start where you feel happy. You're always right. Hey, that sounds contrived, but it's not. You are always right with whatever you choose to do on these. Because you know how you want it to look. Even if you don't think you know yet, you know. Now, do I want to? Yep, there we go. I like that a lot. Gosh, those colors do work together well. Okay, camera cooling break. We'll be right back. Okay, part two, after doing a little bit more work here, you can see that it's still at its roughest stage, outlining different consistencies of paint and things like that, but the amount of randomness and variation is looking pretty good. One of the things that I wanted to mention, and I'm kind of laughing in my mind because I'm thinking this is what helps me sleep at night, is that any places where the pattern is bothering me, what I like about this step, as opposed to the ones where you've just got to put it all on the line at once, is that it can be repaired and augmented over time. If you remember on the Rappoon version, once you lay that silly putty down, once you pull it off, pretty much that's what you're working with. This one, for example, this spot here, I'm not liking. I want to smooth it out just a little. I'll show you what I mean. Now this is just after lunch, so I've had about maybe 30 minutes. But check this out. Look how the Gaia Notes is drying up on the side there. Gosh, that's nice stuff. Bit of separation here, bit of a top up, and we should be good to go. Yep. Just going to make sure I mix in that. It's almost like a gel ink layer for some of these blue paints. I wonder if it's a part of the blue pigment that they use, that part separates. There it is, it's mixed in. Because it definitely looks like, I noticed this with the Gaia Blue that we used on the Haro, Mobiru Haro kit. That's kind of nifty. Now, let's get it in so I can show you. I'm going to hold it so I can show you. Can you see in here? Okay. See this one, I had gone for a dip, but it's not quite working. So I'm going to flesh that out and change it from an innie to an outie. There we go. That has a better flow. Getting more of an idea for the complexity and the scaling of the camouflage. Yet this looks much more appealing to my eye now. Is my eye right? We don't know, but there we go. Let's move up to the top here. How's the angle for this shot? Yeah. The Tomware was just, we were talking about this over lunch. I haven't done this kind of camo pattern for the longest time. Tomoe is most impressed that it doesn't really appear that... So either I have no skill, and that's why there was nothing to lose, or that it's amazing that having any kind of built-up skill like this, it doesn't seem to really deteriorate that badly over time. As opposed to painting miniatures, I've noticed that one drops off like instantly. It might be that, and I've often mused on this, that Yokoyama-san's resolution of finish is such that it's a very natural human hand size. Let's say average human hand size. I think Yokoyama-san and I, our hands are about the same, similar sort of size. He's shorter than me, but he's more of a compact, stocky sort of bloke. So there could be something in that. If you guys saw that really cool documentary, The Toys That Made Us, talks about the toys through the 80s, how the Kenner president's hand told them how big Luke Skywalker should be. So it wasn't a particularly mathematical scale. That's why. Oh, okay. I'll keep talking just to see if it comes through. Otherwise, we'll drop it. Okay. Just that sometimes I think there might be a bit too much of a fixation with mathematical accuracy. When apparently the ancient Romans would do things that were based on measurements extrapolated from the human body. I quite like that cool concept. Okay. Someone's telling me the card is finished, so I better shut off now just in case I lose any more content. And we can pick this up later. But that's basically doing my outline. I'm going to do that. I started on the B side. I'll prepare, if there's something more interesting to show on the A side, I'll catch up with you on that. Thanks a bunch, guys. I should be better within the week, and because there's no toys up in the background, we couldn't get these to stand up. Happy Halloween from Jack and Sally. These are Tomoe's behind the camera in hysterics. low tension. Yeah, happy Halloween. Oh man, that was high. That was the highest tension I could do. Tabs is the biggest fan of Tim Burton and Nightmare Before Christmas. Despite me constantly reminding them that Nightmare Before Christmas is a Christmas story, it gets trundled out every Halloween because it's Halloween Town, I guess. So, but anyway, they insisted that I do this. The happy Halloween. Hope you have a good one. Thanks a bunch, guys. See you soon. Bye. Big thanks to Hobbyco and the visionary Ryan San Pedro for bringing the Japanese hobby to us locally. Roll call for the epic and legendary pop robots. We super appreciate you. Ivan, Grant, Con, Jack, RJ. Tweets: Peter, Robert, Kelso, Kevin, Derek, Dom, Nick, Danny, John, Andy, Philippe, Jake, Pete, Ben, Commander Newbie, Hal, Kieran, Jody, Chris, Guy, Nelson, and welcoming Matt Cranwell. Thank you so very much, guys. And of course, the Brobot Inner Circle, the awesome folks that make this happen. I couldn't do it without you. Always, thank you so very much. Please join us.